Welcome back to Power Lunch. Two big headlines in the media world today. First, Disney. It topped earnings estimates as it nears full streaming profitability, but soft guidance has sent shares down nearly 10%. They also reported a decline in ad revenue for its linear networks. And speaking of big changes in the ad market, Barclays is out with a new note today saying retail is the future of advertising. Amazon, the top contender to dominate, Instacart up there as well. For more, let's bring in advertising expert and Mountain CEO Mark Douglas. Mark, how much do you know about grocery shopping advertisements?
I know a fair amount. I will say that what Amazon is doing and what everyone else is doing is quite a bit different. Amazon basically turned the homepage of a website into a big search engine, and then the 13th most popular website on the internet, so they have the volume. Everyone else, they just don't have that volume. They're in a different game, more data-centric than actually, doing search advertising like Google.
I guess to sort of ask the question a little bit differently, and I wonder as I read through the note, and they're talking about, I think we're talking about a lot of times pushing products and kind of getting the online store to be more like the traditional bricks and mortar shopping store. But is there a sense in which kind of streaming media has reached saturation or something to that effect, or maybe it's too expensive and there's the rise of these other platforms now? I even think of Uber.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's occurred at all. I mean, obviously, there's still a lot of people moving over to streaming. Also, the prices on like social, like Instagram and on search, we're talking about Amazon and Instacart and stuff like that. The prices are not actually that much cheaper. So it's really about finding the right consumer and getting them right at the moment when they may be interested in buying. That's what makes it valuable, is for Amazon and for some of these other players, they're hitting them right at the moment that they're expressing interest in making a purchase, which is obviously going to be very valuable to them and other retailers.
Where and in, I guess my basic question is, where and in what kind of media is advertising going to grow the fastest, and where is it going to shrink? In other words, as a piece of the whole advertising pie, is television, whether it is traditional linear television on the cable or over the air, or television that I stream, is that going to be a smaller piece of the pie and something else going to take its place? If so, what?
Well, the television, if you think of brand advertising, that's been slow growth for a while. 1% annually. The growth has come in, performance television, what Mountain does and what even Amazon is doing, which is bringing direct response marketers into TV. What's going to shrink is display advertising on like publisher sites, like the New York Times or, any other site where you read content. That form of advertising is going to really, really struggle. And those dollars are going to go in the retail media or in the television, but the performance TV, not the brand advertising TV.
Why is that? I mean, what changed where we all used to go to nytimes.com or wsj.com and no longer? Where did all of those eyeballs go?
They're essentially what's changed is that the retailers got much better at figuring out who their consumer is. And when you go to the New York Times, one, you don't have the same kind of targeting capabilities, using them as an example. And two, you're not catching the consumer necessarily at a moment where they're engaged. In other words, the consumer is not there to shop. They're there to read an article, and they start to become what we call ad blindness. They just start to ignore the ads, but it's really hard to ignore a 30-second TV commercial, and it's really hard to ignore the search results on Amazon.com or on Instacart or websites like that. And so you're seeing that direct response advertising make up the gap, and display advertising, which is what publishers rely on, kind of where you read content, they're the losers in this. And they've been losing for a while. That's not new.
They sure have. This sounds like another nail in the coffin of traditional print media, basically, is what we're talking about. Whether the print is displayed on your iPad or the print is displayed on a sheet of paper.
Right, because they might migrate content over, as I've seen, Mark, to Instagram or to other social media platforms, and then guess what? They don't get the ad dollars when users engage with it there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And there've even been court cases over that, and they've lost them.
Very interesting.
Instagram owns the, yeah.
A parting word, we're out of time. Disney, thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you think about the quarter?
I think for the quarter, I'll give you a summary. I don't think it's a good idea for the streaming business to become profitable yet, because if it becomes profitable, they're going to underinvest in content and it's going to stall their growth. They need to keep investing to really build scale on a Netflix size. So I think people should be booing the profitability and cheering for more losses for another year or two.
The investors are going to be booing you if they hear this much more.